Hello and welcome to Own Your Peace. Today we have Rachel Ellenani with us today. She is a dear friend of mine. And when you are struggling with your health and you have no idea where to go, you've gone to the doctors, you've looked at your blood work, and you're still at an impasse of where is this coming from? Rachel's your girl. She knows how to dive into the hair pulling test, diving into DNA tests. She works on a nervous system recovery basis where she really does get in there with you, hold your hand, and help you figure it out and heal from the inside out. And we have so much to dive into. I'm so excited to go all the places in this conversation. We've had so much fun just chitty chatting before we even hit record. So thank you for coming on, and I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited because it's been a hot minute
It's
and
been
we
a
needed
hot
it.
minute. Yes, we needed just a girls' chat. Like it's been so
Mhm.
fun. We've been in each other's circles, and I have so much respect for Rachel and for what she does. She truly is a gift to this world. And for my human design people, she is a manifester and she wears that crown so well. Before we hit record, you were talking about some of the projects that you've been working on recently that you're really
Mhm.
passionate about, following urges and new directions you're going to. Let's talk about those.
Yeah, my manifestor energy really loves having my hand in several different pots at a time.
Yes.
And I gather skills like there's tools in a toolbox because I think everybody should be doing that, but it's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah,
Learning should be something that we do forever, right?
absolutely.
So, yeah, my latest endeavor is I have two of them right now. One of them is really pulling together everything that I do. Like I was talking about the toolbox. I think people should be drawn to the fact that I do help you heal body, mind, and spirit all at once. And that is so, so important, as you know, right?
Yes.
Addressing the physical body without addressing the metaphysical body causes problems down the road. You can try, right? You get to the
Yeah.
gym and you're going to see results, but you're not going to find full healing until you address what's on the inside. And so that's the best part about coming to see me is we address what's on the inside first. But what I've really been diving into is neurotrauma therapy, and I've gotten so so excited about it because it's really that modality that we've been missing because of that trauma piece, right?
Right.
None of us escaped childhood or even young adulthood without those traumas that are following us around, but not just the traumas, like what scripts did we inherit, maybe even the curses from these generational things that we're carrying around. And I love to help people just let go of that luggage that we don't even know is attached to us. It's like every year someone's putting another rock in our backpack as we're climbing Everest. And now we're summiting and we're like, what the crap is happening? This bag is so big. Time to dump it out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about doing not really a course, which we talked about, more of just like a package deal offering where we're really going to dive in. And this is going to be a 6 to 12 month endeavor with each individual client. It's not just, hey, go see Rachel and figure out this one thing, because, like you said, I do the hair analysis, I do genetic testing to find out where you are in this moment. But we really need to deep dive. If you haven't been feeling well for a while, if you have a diagnosed disease or condition, you really need to do the deep dive, right? You know this, Andy. Top center, right?
Poster child of that. Yes.
And I was too. This is why I know it so well from an intellectual level and an experience level.
Right.
And so we've started to bring all of that together. So I'm super excited to just take on those clients who are like, yes, I know I need this healing. Sign me up. I'm committed. Let's go. That's what we all love, right? Who doesn't
Yes.
love a client like
Yeah.
that?
Send it my way.
Yeah. So then the second project is I've been teaching breathwork and sound for, gosh, a long time. And I was traveling so much and looking to be the receiver instead of the giver, and realizing there are so many really good healers out there who are doing so many different modalities, but they're not integrating the breath and sound with what they're doing. And so I'm doing an instructional course to basically business in a box. Like,
I love that.
here's how to do breath, here's how to facilitate these areas. And you should be finishing your yogic practice with this kind of thing. You should be doing this in your spa or clinic. And this is how to do it the right way. And there you go. I mean, it's so simple. It's not something that we have to really think about. You don't have to go to school for it, but there are some ins and outs. And the big thing to know when you are facilitating breath and sound is the trauma piece. And if you are not trauma informed, you can have people on the mats freaking out and you don't know what to do with them. And so we want to get you away from doing that. We want to make sure everyone is safe in that space. And that's really what the course is. How do you bring people in? How do you facilitate? And then how do you help them after? So, yeah.
Yeah, that integration piece. It's the most important piece,
Mm-hmm.
but it is the piece that gets overlooked the most.
It's like the new fun word, right? And we have this FOMO around it. Like, I'm going to go do breath work. Do we even know what you're signing up for?
Right.
I have people come into class all the time and I'm like, cool, what are you excited for? And they're like, I have zero clue why I'm here. I just came with this person. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a little download with you, right? Like, you need to understand you're walking into, first of all, running a marathon on your back. And second of all, maybe opening up Pandora's box. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 90 minutes. And so that's what I really want to help people understand, just to understand how to facilitate and help people through that process. And it's very important to do it yourself. You know this. You cannot help others until you've walked that road. And
100%.
a lot of people not walking the road, but trying to pull people along. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We need to back up. Yeah, this is not, the leader has to have already done this trek a couple times,
A few times,
maybe a couple
several
dozen
times.
times.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're going to see becoming a dividing factor between facilitators.
Yeah.
I think people are done going to people who don't know how to hold the space, but also integrate
Hmm.
that information, because I think the
Hmm.
missing piece is that integration and knowing how to be trauma informed,
Hmm.
knowing how to hold a space, and knowing that if somebody does have one of those Pandora box moments or breakthrough moments, you're not just listening to them. You actually can sit there with them because you've been in it yourself,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I think that's a leader that is emerging now.
Yes.
It's this trauma informed, they've done their own work, they've been in the messy crap of it all, and they have come to the other side and they can hold the space in a completely different way.
Right.
Because you can feel the difference when someone is just talking the talk and those who have actually walked the walk.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to back up for a minute because there could be those listening that are like, holy cow, I don't know if I want to do what they are talking about, right? Maybe they don't know about breath work. I
Yes,
teach
please.
17 different types of breath work. Okay. There are a lot of different things you can do, anywhere from like calming your system from in current panic attack to just like waking up and grounding yourself, right? We're
Right.
told to do, but no one really knows how to do. Like, okay, yeah, we're breathing. Most of us aren't even breathing correctly. And that's what it's about, learning how to actually breathe correctly. Because especially as women, well, we were told to, and that's completely wrong. Never ever do that. And so that's the first line is let's understand the breath. And
Right.
then what Andy and I are talking about is deep holotropic breath work.
Which is
And that
completely different.
completely different than all the other breath works, the other 16 that I teach. And so we want to really inform and understand that you're coming into this to do the work. This is not about calming you down. This isn't about starting your day correctly. This isn't about meditation. This is literally running a marathon on your back to work through the energy that doesn't serve you that's stuck inside your body
Right.
and pulling that right out, right? And it literally sometimes feels like Pandora's box. And if you are not ready for that work, because there's a lot of things that you can do up to that. Let's work on all the other 16 breaths before we get to holotropic. That's going to help you integrate better. Let's
Right.
maybe do a little talk therapy, even if it's not with a certified psychologist. Maybe it's with a friend, maybe it's with an instructor. Maybe it's just writing it down and journaling. Maybe you're a singer. We've got to start that movement though before we get into our breath work, because that's where people get stuck. They don't know what they're coming for. They are thrown into this, and this deep breath work feels like a panic attack sometimes.
It can, absolutely.
Panic
Yeah.
attacks. Yeah, this can really throw you off. So to everyone listening, I don't want you to feel like, oh my gosh, she's talking about it. Let's go do that. That's not the first motion, okay?
No.
I
Yeah.
want you to get there, but that may not be the first thing that you do.
Yeah.
You need to be integrated into this space before you just jump off that cliff.
Right. And also, like when you're looking for a breathwork facilitator, again, there are several types of breath work. Some of them are going to be more mild, where it is just calming. You're going to feel better after it. It's not going to trigger the DMT, which is what
Mhm.
holotropic does. Let's get dirty for a second and
That's okay.
explain exactly what holotropic is and why it triggers that DMT response and what exactly that is. So people understand what is actually happening within your body with that deep
Yeah.
breathing.
I think the easiest way to say it is we're literally going to over oxygenate every cell in your body. We're going to do a 3-part breath. So you're going to double inhale and 1 exhale. And that's going to allow oxygen, our number one healer, into the body so that when we expel, right, that carbon out, we are able to take out what is not serving us inside the cells. Now, when you do this, right? It's almost like being in an oxygen chamber. Some people don't even do that, right? Or what a lot of people call like a runner's high. If any of you have ever been runners, you get into this rhythm, right? The first mile feels like you might die. Once you find that rhythm in your breath, you get this high, and we're not even lying, right? It's a literal high when your body releases DMT. And there may be some people who are like, the facts say, and the science says, there's people over here going, you release DMT. There's people over here saying that's not possible. So take that for what you will. I promise you, it feels like you're high in the best way. In the
Oh, yeah.
best way. So if you've ever been high on whatever substance you've chosen, an upper though, an upper, not a downer high, an upper high. Okay.
Upper
So
high.
we're talking more plant medicine type thing, or even the street drugs. Like if you were to do a cocaine, haven't done it. What I hear, I work a lot in rehab. So I hear a lot of things.
Oh,
But yeah, it's an upper high. So you are going to, for lack of a better term, see the universe. Okay.
right.
You're going to be taken back to what grandma said to you when you were 2 years old. You're going to relive some stuff that maybe you didn't want to, but your body needs to go through that process to release the emotions tied to it. I had somebody in rehab, this was probably about a year ago. He literally, as soon as we were done, I calmed them down and he couldn't wait to talk to me. And I'm like, no, 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 we got to do integration. I do a lot of sound afterwards. Like, let's just ground back in, right? Let's come back to self. And he's like, no, 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 you don't understand. Here he is, like trapped in a rehab for 8 weeks. And he's like, I saw who stole my car. I need to call the police right now. And I'm like, which is a big reason why he's in rehab. And so I'm like, okay, thank you. We're not doing murder mystery right now. I'm
Nope,
so
nope.
glad. I promise you'll remember. We're going to sit down right here, but that's part of that being trauma informed. They just had like this huge download. Let's make sure that we process all of that energy that's coming up. So, yeah, it's a high, and you need to look at it in the best sense. And when I say that, I don't want you to get scared, because I talk to people that have never had any sort of drug in their body. And I talk to people who have done every drug, plant medicine, street drug, whatever under the sun. And they both get scared at this when I tell them, your body's going to release DMT. You're going to have a high, like you're running a marathon. All of this stuff is happening all at once, right? And they're like, deer in the headlights. You don't need to be scared about that because here's the best part of it. Just like when you're running, that's why I love to refer to it as a runner's high. If you stop running, your body's just going to process all of that out. You're in full control, right?
Yeah.
Doing holotropic breathwork is exactly the same. If you were to do cocaine, are you in control? No, you're riding that wave until the body has metabolized enough of that that you're on the calm down.
Right.
Or even like mushrooms or ketamine or whatever, you're not in control because you have taken a substance. This substance resides inside of you. And so you are always in control. And an informed instructor will know how to guide you through that and know how to help you should something happen. There's never anything to be scared about as long as you do it in the right environment, which you should always do drugs if you're choosing to do drugs in the right environment. So you take it as the same thing. There's so many parallels. So just understand that the right environment is so, so important. We're releasing energy. That's why we're there. If you're in a big room, all those other people are releasing energy too. So what do you need? The instructor is the most important part. It's the most important part. You're in a big room of all this energy. You better make sure you know somebody that knows how to do energy work, right? Because we've got to pull that energy and release as soon as it's coming out. Because you don't know what you're doing, right? You're just on the mat breathing.
Yeah. You didn't know that you just released a whole demon. Not literally, but energetically, there's some energy that moves. So having someone there that knows Reiki or some type of energy movement to clear the space, to clear you. So you're not just like getting that back in your body.
Yes. Yeah. Because the idea is to get rid of it, not to hand it to the person next to you or not to have it like hold on for dear life, right?
Right.
And sometimes there are layers. Andy, you know this, working through the layers, so fun.
Yes.
That's just part of it because sometimes that is the thing. I do a lot of work in rehab. And so
that's amazing.
Most of it is men, all men rehabs. And so I have a lot of stories about men, but just last week I had an individual who we informed him and he knew what he was getting into, but he had never done it before.
Okay.
And he was in rehab because he started drinking alcohol day in and day out, couldn't put the bottle down after repressed memories had surfaced of being sexually molested as a very young kid. His body was holding it. His mind had learned how to let go of it over the years, but then it surfaced and he didn't know how to deal with it. And that's what I'm talking about, being trauma informed. You have to understand. He immediately went into panic attack mode, right? Went into the fetal position, had to turn over. His whole body went stiff and shaking, almost like he was having a seizure. If you don't know how to calm them down, that can be very problematic, right? There are people that go to the ER for far less than that, for gas issues, right? So yeah, this is an important work that all of us should be doing, mostly because we were probably born to be runners and we don't run. So if you want to run, it probably does the same thing. I don't love running.
Neither do I. It's so funny. I used to be a runner. I ran a marathon for my 40th birthday. That was just to say that I could do it.
Yeah.
And like, so when you say a runner's high, there's that pocket. I always called it my pocket because like once I got to that certain cadence, certain speed, and you just settle in and you literally can run for miles and it's like, yeah, no big deal. Don't do that anymore. Nowadays, it's more like if you see me running, like someone's chasing me or maybe I stole something. I'm not running. And that was a key thing for me with learning my human design is how, as a projector, running was not it. And I was forcing my body to do something it's not built for. And hence the reason why I have so many fun autoimmune diseases because I overtax my body.
Maybe I've been doing that for, I don't know, my whole life. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. I worked out for 2 hours a day to be this health and wellness blogger. And it is absolutely not what I should have been doing, but that's what happens. You move through life and you do the best you can and then you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
So,
do better.
and then you
You
do
walk
better.
different.
And now I do yoga. I walk with my weighted vest and my body loves it so much better.
Mm, good.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just like living and learning, right? And so with the breath work, I think we might have scared some people here. So I just want to like land the plane a little bit when it comes to breath work.
Yeah.
It is a fascinating and amazing tool. If I'm real honest, it is not my favorite.
Interesting. I'd love to hear this actually.
Yeah. So there's this part of me that literally starts to internally rebel when someone
Mm.
tells me how to breathe. It
Oh,
like literally is like, don't tell me what to do. And that part of me starts to get angry at the jump in breath work. So if you hit that when you go to breath work for your first time, you're in good company because that's me every single time. My body literally is like, don't tell me what to do. And it's hilarious. And
and
then,
there's your nervous system and your ego popping up and going, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? We don't need to be doing this. Everything's fine. Go
right,
back to normal, Andy.
right. We don't need the help. So why are we doing this? But every
Yeah.
time I've done breath work, I've done the holotropic, I've done different modalities, but every time, yes, some crazy stuff has come up. Yes, I have had panic attacks. I've worked through things, but on the other side of that, it really truly is the high. And it's worth everything you went through in the breath work.
Yeah.
And you feel like a new person for a couple days
Mm.
because you just got this whole reset.
Mhm.
And that has happened with the milder breath work. And then
Mhm.
also the really deep breath work. For me, deep breath work, obviously things are going to come up a little bit more. You're going to have a deeper release of things. But even if you
Mhm.
do the milder one, the reset's real.
It's true. And we should address the fact that, well, let's go back to layers. You are going to pull up one of two things, either what your intention is, and good
Mhm.
facilitators will have you set an intention, or maybe you're
Absolutely.
like, I'm going to go do that because I want to release this thing. You already have a set intention. That's what, right? Your mind is going to control this. You're going to work towards. Or if you don't have that intention set, which I've done, I just feel like I need to do some breath work. I don't have a real intention for this. Like, I don't have a thought or a process or a specific trigger or something that I really want to work through. I really just want to see what comes up. And do you know what? I have literally danced my way through breath work. I've laughed my way through breath work. I've just wiggled and I felt calm. I've been doing it for years. And so I've had every experience you can have, at least for me, I think. Maybe there are more. But I don't want to scare you into thinking, holy cow, I'm going to be in a full body sweat running a marathon on the floor this whole time, and it's going to be demons swirled around me. Like you could maybe make a really bad picture there, right? But
Yeah.
it is everything that you've already experienced. So there's not going to be this new thing. We're releasing what's being held inside of your body. And if you truly believe the body keeps the score,
Which it
which
does.
that is us, and probably a vast amount of your followers and
I
mine.
I think if you're human, your body keeps score.
Yeah, it does, whether you believe it or not is a whole nother subject, right?
Right.
But let me tell you, it does. I
Yeah.
see it on the screen every single day with everyone that comes to me.
Right.
And you are there for a specific purpose to do the work. Your body is holding on to it. So, my suggestion for anyone who hasn't done it would be to be very intentional. And that intention can start. I want to go in this slowly. Maybe you just want to tiptoe into this water. That's totally fine. Set your intention as I just want to address this first layer, whatever's going on with me. Let's just do that and make sure to choose a very informed, practiced, experienced facilitator. If you've been in the wellness world, if you've been to a therapist for a while, you can jump off the deep end. You can, okay, let's see what happens here. Just make sure you have the right facilitator and you're ready to go.
Yeah. If you're new to this world, then maybe take the baby steps in.
Yeah, try some other breath works. Go low and slow. A good
Right.
facilitator will show you. Remember in the 80s when you had like the modified version of your workout? Okay, we're gonna go hard, and then Susie is gonna show you the modified. We're not doing a full squat, right?
Yeah.
You can definitely do that. You can do that modified version. You don't have to follow everybody else in the room. That's the beauty of this. This is
Right.
so individualized.
It's
And you should
your
have a facilitator to
experience.
help you. Yeah. This
Yeah.
is your experience. You.
Yeah.
No one else can have your experience.
And I appreciate when I go to facilitators who have that mindset because there's
Mhm.
nothing more disturbing when you have a facilitator who walks by and tells you you're not breathing right or just tries to correct you. Like, I understand that there is obviously a correct way to do things,
Mhm.
but if you're just taking a break and you're trying to like get your bearings and someone's telling you you're doing it wrong, that's not the best facilitator there.
Not the
Um,
best facilitator. Someone
and
that's constantly touching you, not the best facilitator. It brings you out of your experience.
right.
You don't need that.
Yeah.
No.
The only time that you probably want someone touching you is at the end when they're clearing.
Mhm.
And that is also should be an informed thing.
Some people have trauma around touch. You don't want to be touching somebody that doesn't even know that they have a trigger around touch.
Especially in that vulnerable environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is why I'm creating the course. I'm doing it with my business partner on that end. Her name is Caitlin. And we have this dual approach, and it's beautiful. She's a generator, and I'm
I
a
love it.
manifester. So we bring, if you're in that human design world, we bring both aspects. She's very quiet and kind of the doer, right?
Yes.
Typical little generator. And I'm loud and outspoken and and it works. Yeah, we make sure to get you all the details that way. And you're getting it from two different perspectives of facilitators that we do it differently, but we also do it together, which is it's unique. I haven't seen anyone else do, and I'm sure there are, but I haven't seen anyone else do a dual system. So it's pretty fun.
I love that. And this is something that is going to be an online course, or is this something that
It
they
will
have to
be.
come? It will be an online course. Okay. So
Yeah.
for
It's
my
gonna be
listeners who
it.
are all over the world, this
Yeah.
is something they can still get in on.
Yep. Worldwide. It will only be in English, but yes.
Might have to have your Google Translate right there,
Yeah.
but in all
Yeah.
languages.
We'll
That's
speak
amazing.
together.
I want to circle back. We started talking about your neuro program that you're working with that you're really excited about. And I feel like we dropped that conversation. And I actually do want to know more about that and what
Okay.
one of those sessions looks like.
Yes, so I like to go in order. Lots of people are really driven by data and science, right? We're born into that world. This woo-woo that you and I dabble with, that seems a little bit more scary to people. That's what everyone else calls it, right? So we'll play
Yeah.
into that verbiage. But the neurotrauma therapy is based in science, but it's all energy work. Okay. And this
Aha.
is going, right? This is how I do things.
Same.
Come get tested, but then I'm going to help you understand your body. Yeah. It's a beautiful system because for some reason, especially in America, we want hard data. We want something in our hand. It's hard for us to connect to ourselves. And so I'm going to give you that hard data and then teach you how to connect to yourself. We all have little things that are bugging us, right? And when I say neurotrauma therapy, all I'm really talking about is right here, the trauma right here between these two ears. So we're really looking at how you're synthesizing your life. What's really happening? Do you panic first thing in the morning? Are you constantly thinking about something that happened to you when you were 5 or 20 or anywhere in between? Is something coming up over and over and over again? Those are patterns and they have to be tied to emotions. So we want to release motions in a certain way. There's definitely a pattern for that. If you're in the grief cycle, there's ways to start to pull you out of that grief cycle because most of us have dealt with some big grief in our life, whether it be the loss, right? The death and loss of a person in your life, a relationship that you've lost, even a close pet, or maybe a house. When I got divorced, I was happy to leave the man didn't love leaving the house. I put my heart and soul into that design and more to the yard than anything else. And I had to literally grieve walking away from that fruit bearing yard that I created, It was just
Yeah.
like, okay. So anything you don't realize, wow, that was a trigger for you, Rachel. That seems crazy. Guaranteed there are things like that in your own life.
Oh,
And
for
you can,
sure.
right? Like you can measure it by like, okay, go into that closet and get rid of something. You haven't gotten rid of clothes in your closet for years because you're somehow energetically, emotionally tied to them. Or like, how many of us have 4,000 products in the bathroom that somehow you're tied to them
Well, you
emotionally?
invested your money and you
Thank
can't
you.
get rid of it, even
But
though
did
you
you
don't
see
use
that
it.
emotion? Did you see that emotion come out of Aaron?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. No, that is one thing I have given myself permission for is just because I didn't use a product and I invested money in it, it's still okay to get rid of it. It's
okay.
fine. It's
Yeah.
money. Money is a renewable resource. There's always more coming in. You're
Yeah.
not wasteful if you get rid of it. Because so many of us grew up in a house where it was like you got rid of anything. You didn't eat your food on your plate. You were wasting money. And
Right.
there's a lot of shame and guilt around that. So
Yeah.
it does take some work to be able to get rid of things or clothes that you've invested in and get rid of them.
Right. So that's just the smallest amount of trauma anywhere into like a big car accident, or maybe you were abused in your past in some way. There's so many different things. And depending on what it was, who knows? Your body could have held on to it. You didn't even realize you were holding on to it. You just know that you can't get out of this pattern that you're in.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you can't get over that threshold of making more money. Maybe you can't run a marathon, right? This is something you really want to do, and maybe it aligns with your human design, but you can't get to that mile marker. And so this is just about rewiring the brain. And just like breath work, taking out what doesn't serve us and making sure we have full intact of what would serve us, right? Let's rewire that to what we really want in life. And so we're going to first, this is why I want to create this program that I'm implementing in the next month is we are going to really see what's going on in a way that we can support your system. So when I test genetics and epigenetics, I'm really looking at what your nutrient levels are and what your toxicity levels are. So as an internal code, we know, wow, if we are deficient in nutrients, we're not going to run our brain very well. Our heart's not going to run very well. Our energetic field is going to have holes in it. And so we want to secure that first. So it's almost like feeding you and carving up before the race, right? Like not
Yeah.
right before, but we are sustained and we are prepared for the journey forward, right? And so then we're going to start looking at the trauma therapy. And that is really going to be a full session of almost like a talk therapy session. Okay. I'm not a licensed psychologist, but I've been doing brain stuff for long enough. I'm not going to write you a script. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty unless you want to give it to me, right? Because I'm
Right.
going to help you get rid of it in a different way. And this is really going to basically be a bullet point list of when I say trauma, what comes up for you? Is it more physical? There are people that come to my office that have had 12 surgeries in 10 years,
Oh,
right?
geez.
It's just like, holy cow, what happened to your physical body? Because something's being held there, right? And a
Yeah.
trauma to the body is just like a neuro emotional spiritual trauma. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's happened. We need to address each and every one of them. So we're going to go through the list, and then second session we're going to start releasing what's at the top. And when there are emotions tied to it, we're going to work through those emotions in order. It's really so individualized. I couldn't even say, hey Andy, this is going to be exactly how it goes. We're going to be in flow of what's coming up, because just like the body works in layers, that physical part, if I try to go back and release something that happened at 5 and that's not currently at the top of the list for you, that's
Right.
going to screw up releasing what actually is on the top, right? And that's when you force Pandora's box open. We want to just like, let's just pull off the top. What's happening
Yeah.
right now?
Layers of an onion.
Layers of an onion. Let's just do a layer at a time.
Layer
Yeah.
at a time.
Yeah. But usually we can get really, really good levels with 6 sessions.
That's awesome. So is that basically asking questions, what comes up and going deeper? What does that look like?
It's different for every person, but
Oh,
because I have so many tools in my toolbox,
right.
we're going to be able to do what fits you. I have them lay on a PEMF mat on a
Okay.
massage table, right? And so you are going to be in a therapeutic grounding situation with
Okay.
only me. There's no one else involved unless you want someone else involved. There is breath work involved because I'm going to have you invoke stuff. It's not going to
Right.
be that deep holotropic unless we need to work through it that
But it's
way,
just getting to a certain state, a theta state or an alpha state.
where we need to either heighten or calm down. And sometimes there is sound. Sometimes people are too overstimulated. And just the thought of me doing something more is too much. And maybe we do that on a later session. Maybe that's the beginning. Everyone is so different, but I definitely use all the different modalities. That's why it's so important to understand different, because I get people referred to me all the time who are just like, I had this breakout in the office and they didn't know what to do with me. And all of a sudden now I'm here with you. And so
Yeah.
that's the last thing that we want for someone. I'm so glad that facilitator did know me and could send them my way. But what if they don't? What if they say, you need to go see this doctor and get on this medication? I also see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to understand that medication isn't bad, but it could be blocking what we're really trying to get down to, right?
Right.
Everything is an energy. Is this a negative energy or a positive energy for you specifically?
Right.
So, yeah, it's all about understanding that. And you do a lot of this work helping people understand themselves and what their path is forward. That's what I want to do as well in a different way, right? I'm looking at it from, where is your body going? What does your physical body want? What does your heart and mind want? How do we get rid of those things that are blocking you there? And then I feel like you're that top layer is like, okay, now that we've cleared out the gunk.
Yeah. I'm what's next.
Exactly.
You get them out of survival mode. I help them when they're in thriving mode. So,
Yes.
like, yes, now let's create the life that you cannot wait to wake up to every morning, that you're
Yeah.
so excited about. Let's build the dream.
Yeah. Yeah, you've helped me so much understand that it doesn't matter who you are or how much education you have. We all find stuck points. We all have some of that negative verbiage happening in our head. We've had these traumas that have lended itself to that verbiage, right? And lots of people in my life have told me a lot of negative things, and some of them have stuck, and some of them I've been able to get rid of. And some of those that were stuck were things that were counter intuitive to the things that you told me. Like, Rachel, you were supposed to be doing this. And I'm like, I knew it. I still had that voice in my head saying, no, you can't do that. You're too much energy. You're not allowed to be in charge. Like, you're too loud. Those type of things. And then
Right.
here comes Andy and she's like, you're supposed to be loud. You're supposed to be in charge. All you're supposed to do is tell people what to do. And I'm
It's
like,
literally what you're built for.
I'm like, all right, taking that to the top. Thank you very much. Bye bye, bad voice.
Yeah. And it is giving people those permission slips that their soul already knows. I'm just
Yes,
reminding them,
yes,
guiding you back to your map of like how you're meant to function. You have all those modalities you use. I like to do the
yes.
same thing. We work out your human design, we work out your astrology, work out your gene keys, and they all tell me a very holistic story of the
Mhm,
path that you're meant to do. It would be so interesting. Like, this is me just like being nerdy based on astrology and certain placements, because astrology really truly is like a roadmap. So there
mhm.
are going to be certain placements that have certain traumas,
Yes.
certain stories that are part of what you're meant to weave through. So it'd be interesting to overlay what's happening in the body with those
Mhm.
traumas that I see on the astrology chart and have that be a map to guide through some things. Just,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
super nerdy over
Yeah.
there.
It's like the wayfarer, right? Like, you literally follow the stars to help
Mm.
people get on the right path. That's what we've been doing since the dawn of time.
Right.
I don't know why this is like, oh my gosh, this is so new. We should all be doing this. We should learn this as children, but we don't. So Andy's your source. So, but that's what I'm doing on the other side is we're missing these nutrients. We have these toxicities. Here's your roadmap. And you can do both of them together. That's the beautiful
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rachel has been so helpful in my journey as well. My whole health situation is just a fun, fun trip that I have been on. And I've learned so much about myself with working with Rachel and other healthcare professionals, because I definitely do think that Western medicine has its space.
Mhm.
But when you can get to the root cause
Yeah.
of emotionally what's actually going on. Like I love looking and diving into like, okay, this is coming up. What's the emotional root of this? And then I sit with that. Like, what does that emotionally bring up when I see that?
Mhm.
Right? Because
Mhm.
everything that manifests first as emotions and then it shows up in the body.
Mhm. But
Right.
we don't recognize it because we
No.
weren't taught to inwardly look at what's happening, right? You got a toddler that's throwing a fit. Well, there's probably something happening. And we know that from babies. Babies only cry when they're trying to communicate something to you. They inherently know, we inherently knew as infants, there was something wrong. There was a bad energy in the room. I don't feel great. I'm hungry or my bowels are moving. They're telling us things and
Right.
they don't have the language, but their body knew, our
Right.
bodies knew there was something wrong. And we move away from that.
Right.
We want to come back to that. We
Right.
want to understand our bodies again. We want to connect to that higher power inside,
Yes.
centralized. But you can't do that in a dirty body. That's why it's important to have Andy and Rachel.
Right. I always say, like, your body does not lie. Your mind, on the other hand, will lie to you all day long,
Yes.
but your body does not lie. But to really truly get to the point where you can trust your body
Yes.
and listen to your body, there's a
Hmm.
process. It
Yeah.
takes
There is.
reconnecting to your body. And a lot of that is healing the body so that
Mhm.
that connection is more direct and more easily accessible. Because a lot of times we have bypassed listening to our body completely.
Right.
And so when I say trust your gut, people are like, I don't know what that feels like because you haven't for a really long time. So it is a process of like healing the gut. So you're actually getting signals from your gut.
Hmm.
I see that
Hmm.
so much with manifesting generators, and generators especially have a lot of gut issues because they have stopped listening.
Hmm. Yeah. I see it all the time too. And I've even gotten in this habit of like, do you know what your human design is? Like, it's just now one of my questions because I'm like, this is in the world now. You
Yeah,
should
it's
know what this is. And if you don't, let's start exploring that, right? And some people
yes.
just look at me like, I don't even, you just spoke Chinese to me. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole, but first, right? That's our second step. We need to focus on diet or maybe going to bed on time. That's going to be helpful. We're conduits. The energy's coming in and out. So we've got to get this vessel clean so that this conduction happens in this smooth manner. We're not going to be able to trust ourselves if our gut is constantly messed up, if we can't activate this solar plexus, right?
I love it so much. Okay, so when people sign up for this new program that's launching next month, it's
Hmm.
going to be a 6 or 12 month process. So it starts with signing up with you, getting their
Hmm.
hair tested, getting their DNA tested, and then moving
Hmm.
to the trauma layer, and
Hmm.
then working with these different modalities to really figure out what is causing the root problem.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right.
And you can work with me in office or remote, either one. I'm just going to ask you to be very specific about your space when we're working together. But yeah, this is something that I think has been a long time coming. We need to start healing mind, body, and soul at the same time. And while I've been doing it, I figured out there's an actual recipe. It doesn't always look exactly like sometimes there's going to be a tablespoon of salt and sometimes just a teaspoon of salt, right?
Right.
Because everyone's a little different, but there still is a basic recipe to follow. And That's what we're doing. I've been seeing these onesie twosie people and kind of hit and miss. And I'm like, no more, no more. We're in it to do the work. Let's do this.
I love that. It's because you come in, you get your hair tested, and then you try to do it yourself, but having that, okay, this is actually what this means. Let's add that DNA. Let's talk about the DNA a little bit more because I think people hear both those modalities, epigenetics and then the DNA testing.
Mhm.
What do both of those bring to the table in this conversation?
Yeah. So understanding what the difference is super huge, right?
Right.
DNA or your genetic code is what you're, we all have it. Partial mom, partial dad. And we are looking at just how your body metabolizes. We want to make sure that we see, oh, are you chronically deficient in certain nutrients? How is your body's glycation process? What does insulin levels look like? Do you have MTHFR, right? Like
Right.
that's a big whole discussion that we'll do it another time. But
Yeah.
yeah, we want to see what is the base root of it, what's happening inside of your body. And then epigenetics. So when I pull your hair, the first one we do is saliva and send it to a lab. Hair, I can do almost instantaneously. And we're looking at here and now what's been happening the last 90 days in your life and how is that affecting you and how has that DNA changed over time. Every second of every day your DNA changes. 85% of your original DNA is changeable. Can't change the way that you look, right? You get bone structure from your mom, you got your nose from dad, whatever, right?
Right.
But everything internally can change. We're working through those layers. Even if you were one of those babies that was born with an autoimmune disease, or you hear about a 1-year-old with cancer, that is all changeable. I had a client who's a professional athlete, had stage 4 cancer at the age of 2. Okay. So it's all changeable. He's almost 40 now. He's doing great. They didn't think he'd live past 6.
That's
He's doing great.
amazing.
Yes, so it's proof positive that things can change. You just have to have the right tools to actually change it, and you have to understand what's going on in the body to do that. So that's what we're going to look at. Epigenetics versus genetics and the blend of the two. Okay, so saliva, hair, and then we're going to give you a protocol based on what's really coming up on your testing and what your lifestyle is like. I'm not here to drastically change everything that you're doing and say, you've been doing it wrong. That's not my job, right? We're all stuck in our ways a little bit and going, all right, I'm willing to change that. I'm willing to change my diet a little bit. I'm willing to go to bed an hour earlier. I'm willing to maybe go down to 1 cup of coffee or 1 soda a day. I get that. I'm a human. I have my cravings too. I want to stay up and watch that movie too, but we have to get in a rhythm. And I really teach my clients to be on more of like a 90-10, but some are 80-20 lifestyle so that you
Right.
do have those provisions on the outside. Okay, yeah, it's so and so's birthday. We're going to go out to eat. It's going to be a late night. I am going to have cake. Those kind
Yeah.
of days or
Live your
nights.
life.
Yeah, we're still going to socialize. We're still going to do human life.
Right.
But 90 to 80% of the time, we're going to be on mark. We get our movement. We're at the gym or we have whatever we do. We go to bed at a regular time. We have the right environment for sleep. We're taking supplements or eating correctly to make sure to get the nutrients that our specific body needs. We're drinking water primarily. We're not taking in all those calories or extra chemicals and dyes through liquid. Don't do that. We're really watching what our output and input is as far as like, what are the negative thoughts in my head? What are the negative things that I say? How many positive thoughts do I have? How many positive things do I say? What are the podcasts, the books, the music,
Ugh.
the television? What am I listening to? Because that really changes the brain. We don't realize we are rewiring our brain every second of every day. Our environment matters.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing that most people don't even realize is the information that you take in through social media, through whatever you read, whatever you listen to is sticky.
Mhm.
Within human design, there's what's called a passive brain versus an active brain.
Mm.
This is a really cool thing to look at because if you have a passive brain, that's me, you literally are a sponge. And everything you read, everything that you take in is stored. Your brain is not picky at all, it stores it all, which can be scary, but also really, really cool. So, do we have active recall? No, we do not. So, do I know half of what's in my brain? No, I don't. But if you start asking me questions, I can sit and talk 20, 30 minutes on a topic because it's there. I just need the trigger. So if you have a passive brain, you do not have active recall. So you have so much going on that you have absorbed. I can start talking about a book I read 20 years ago as soon as someone asks me a question that's going to trigger it.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's really especially important for somebody who has that passive brain to be very careful about what they're
Mhm.
taking in. Active brain, you're a lot pickier. You're gonna be like, if it, unless it's like literally important and I told my brain to store it, it will not store it. So you have a little bit more flexibility with what you watch and what you take in because your brain's not going to store it and
Yeah.
unless it knows it's important.
So do the passives tend to be more sensitive
Yes,
naturally, right? Like
naturally.
if
Yes.
they were to walk into a club, right? We know there's loud, kind of like crazy music. They're all of a sudden like kind of off put by the environment.
Absolutely. For my passive people, they're going to be way more sensitive to the music and the shows that they watch. Because
Mhm.
if they're watching a show like, let's say, Yellowstone, where every episode is everything's falling apart, it's a massive panic attack. If you were actually living that life, that
Okay.
actually can affect your nervous system because you are
Mhm.
absorbing those emotions that are portrayed in the show.
Yes.
So for me, there are a lot of shows I cannot watch because all of a sudden I'm in fight or flight because I'm feeling those emotions that are in the show.
Okay, I'm passive. You just defined it for me. I had no clue. I'm like, tell me more.
Yeah. So if you notice that you are actively taking on emotions from TV shows and things like that, movies, then you are more than likely a passive. My husband, he can watch like the biggest shoot 'em up shows. Like, I'm like, I cannot watch this. It's too much, but you'll be fine. It doesn't affect him because he has that active brain. He's not going to store it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
me, I like absorb everything from it. The
Yeah.
emotions.
Have you noticed that there's like a men woman type thing? Like men just seem more active that way to me, and women seem like mostly because we're emotional creatures.
Men and women both have those interchangeably. I
Hmm.
think it's more men are not allowed to delve into their emotions and
So instead of the blocking, maybe.
they're
Yeah.
naturally more blocking and not feeling.
Hmm.
But if we were real honest and like sat with that, I'm sure they're
Hmm.
absorbing way more than they let on
Hmm.
with that,
Yeah.
especially with that passive placement.
Yeah. That's interesting because when I do trauma therapy, or even when I see a male client, you can just tell how much they're holding in. So
It breaks my
uh,
heart. Yeah.
it does. We have not allowed men to be expressive in the way that they need to be expressive. I I think it's changing a
I think
little.
so too. I think we're getting to this place where it's not the toxic masculinity. We're
Yeah.
seeing more healthy masculinity. I don't know. Have you watched Off Campus on?
Uh-uh.
Okay. It is a spicy show, just for the listeners at home. Like, be prepared. It's spicy. But what it does really, really well is it portrays well adjusted, emotionally intelligent men.
Mm.
And it is so well done on that level. It's showing a new level of masculinity that is exciting to see in a TV series.
Okay.
And for that purpose alone, watch it. Just gonna warn you, it is very spicy. If that's like not your thing, then maybe skip it. But
Yeah.
it does show that new masculine approach. And what
Hmm.
I'm so excited to have men step more and more into, where they
Hmm.
actually have that empathy, that
Hmm.
wanting to understand
Yeah.
their partner. And it is beautifully done. I think it's something that we need to see more of on that collective level for sure.
I love that. Yeah. if we can start to merge that, the healthy male and the healthy female, I'm like, holy cow, we
Oh,
can make relationships work.
oh my goodness. Whole nother side tangent here.
Oh yeah.
This be a whole nother podcast. There's this whole push for matriarchy, push for patriarchy. I'm like, no, 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 not one or the other. Grounded together. Like
Yeah.
we need both. We need masculine leadership. We need feminine leadership. We need both to be grounded and working together. That's how
Yes.
we turn this whole thing around. There's
Yes.
not one that's better than the other or vice versa.
Right. No, but we have to do it together. That's the
We
way
have
it's meant to be.
That's the way it's always meant to be. And so much to go on. I mean, I'll have you back and we'll just talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we can work on that through all the tools that we
Through
have.
all the tools. Yes. Healing your feminine, healing your masculine. We need to
Right.
allow each of those versions of ourselves to have a seat at the table because a lot of us have unhealed feminine energy, unhealed masculine energy within us. And I'm sure you see that all day long in what you do.
Yeah, no matter what, it still is come back to self. Come
Yeah.
back to self. And you'll see Andy and I preach that 24/7. You have to come back to you. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop taking that supplement or doing that thing, right? And following someone else. You should only be following your internal compass. And if you don't know where that compass is, that's when you call one of us.
Yes. Perfect way to end this conversation. Because that's truly at the end of the day, that's what it is. It is coming back to self and learning
Mhm,
how to trust yourself again. And if you need
mhm.
someone to guide you there, that's why we're here. That's why
Yeah,
we do the work that we do, is bringing you back to self. We are never going to be like, we're your guru. Listen to everything we say. No, we'll guide you, walk with you, we'll sit with you, and we'll figure this thing out together with the
yeah.
tools that we have learned.
We want you to be your own guru. We're just going to help you get there.
Right. The arrow is always pointing back to you with
Yeah,
us.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have the time to hold your hand the rest of eternity. So we got other people to get to and
Right.
ourselves. We have to
And our
keep putting our oxygen mask on.
right, because we cannot help you if we don't do the work on ourselves. And that is such a key point is Rachel and I are truly women who not only talk the talk, but we walk the walk.
Yes,
We're
yeah,
we're in the we're in the ditches with you.
yeah.
We've been
And,
there.
we've proven it by really utilizing each other to come together. You got to have the full toolbox.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful to connect with other women who own their power
Hmm.
and who are using that to help lift other women up and men.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So, Rachel, how can people find all these amazing offerings? How can they connect with you?
Rachel Ellenani on every platform, RachelEllenani.com, Rachel Ellenani on all the socials. It's just there, just my full name.
All right. And we will put it in the show notes for you so
Yeah.
you can find it and just click over and check out all that Rachel has to offer. She's such a great resource. So, if you are in the middle of a health, not even crisis, just wanting to live a better, healthier life, she's a great resource. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on. This has been such a
Love
fun
it.
conversation. I love
Love
all
our
of our
company.
little weird tangents, but all the best conversations go that way. All right. Till next week. Much love.